Okay, Mindset by Design crew. So you've had my awesome intro. So you know, as always, but especially today, I am pumped about today's guest. I really am. How are you, Jose?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome, mate. As I said, I wore a special Einstein t-shirt for you, mate, because I just saw the Einsteinness coming out of your brain when we met in Tampa.
Yeah, man.
And do you know the biggest thing that pulled me in with you, Jose?
What was that?
Your jacket, mate.
Oh, do you like the jacket, huh?
Oh, you've got some style with those jackets, buddy.
Yeah, I do have a bunch of nice jackets, man. That's my thing, man. Getting that nice sports jacket, that's like a must for me.
I can tell you pull it off, mate. I don't know if I could. You're looking good with it. You're looking good with it. So, where are you right now, buddy?
I'm based in South Florida, the Fort Lauderdale area.
Do you know what? I've never made it down.
Oh, no?
No, it's supposed to be a good spot, right?
Oh, yeah. You have to come down, man, and check it out. It's awesome down here.
I heard. At Miami, do you ever make it to Miami? Miami's a little crazy, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm in Miami quite often. It's only about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from me, so yeah.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So you, sir, have one hell of a story, right? Just one hell of a story that blew my mind. And you know what? It blew my girl's mind even more. It really did. She was like talking about you for days.
Why was that? What was like the most thing you guys talked about?
Just pure responsibility of your life. And just like, she was literally saying, look, she was getting down on herself about something. And she's like, look at Jose. Look at what Jose goes through every single day. And he gets off his ass and he keeps pushing. And I was like, exactly. Right? And that's why I love those events, man, because we get to hang out with brilliant people, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Les Brown, I read that you're one of his little proteges, buddy. Yeah. And we all know Les Brown, man. Les Brown's a legend, So tell me about that, man. How did you first connect with Les?
Yeah, that was amazing, man. I saw him at an event down here in Fort Lauderdale, actually, that he was speaking at. And it was a free event. And my wife and I went to go, watch him speak and potentially try to catch up with him and give him my speaker package. Gotcha. And that first time we were able to see him speak, but I wasn't able to get to him because the crowd was just crazy, looking for him afterwards. But the most amazing thing happened was that while I was at that event, I didn't meet Les Brown, but I was able to meet the CEO and the host of the people who were putting on the event. And they actually happened to be doing a tour across the United States, and that was down here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The next stop was going to be in West Palm Beach. Nice. It was about 30 minutes north of us. And so the CEO said, hey, man, I heard you're an up-and-coming speaker. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, if you can make it next week to West Palm Beach, I'll give you 10 minutes to show me what you've got. So I showed up. Yeah, man. I showed up the following week, and he gave me my 10 minutes of fame. And again, Les Brown was there, but I missed him. I missed him again because he literally came, got on stage, finished his presentation, got off the stage, and got right into a car and went to another event. But it just so happened, this is how good God is, because it just so happened that a friend of mine was speaking in Miami at the Dolphin Stadium, and he said, hey, listen, I have some extra tickets if you and your wife want to come down. And I was like, yeah, I'll see if I can make it. I'm up here in West Palm Beach. But I'll try to see if I can make it. And he said, hey, man, guess who's going to be speaking here? And I said, who? He said, Les Brown. So that's why Les literally got off and on the stage, because he had another event to go to in Miami. But anyhow, long story short, I wound up catching up to him in Miami, and that's where I met him. And I tell the whole story in great detail in the book, which is a phenomenal story. But yeah, that's how I met him. I gave him my speaker package. That was on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, I get up, I go to work as normal, and because I was working for corporate America at that time. I go to work on Thursday, I get a phone call from a funny number, and I thought it was somebody that I was networking with that was just following up with me, and it was actually Les Brown who called me the very next day.
No way! What was that moment like? That moment where you picked up the phone, you heard Les's voice, did you recognize it?
I did recognize it. And I was like, I still asked because it was kind of like so surreal. After they asked to speak to me, I said, this is him. Who am I speaking with? And he said, hey, Jose, this is Les Brown. And I said, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's amazing, man. What did he say?
He was like, hey, I got your information that you gave me yesterday, and I was looking over it. And the funny thing is that one of the first questions he asked me was if I was a pilot. And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, a pilot? Why would he be asking me if I'm a pilot?
Right.
Are you a pilot? And I said, no, I'm not. That's funny though. Why do you ask? And he said, well, on the speaker kit you gave me, the photo shoot that I did for my speaker one sheet was at a private airport. And I was taking photos inside the jets and outside the jets. So it looked like
cool.
A private jet. So I guess he thought I was a pilot, which was funny. So I was like, no, I'm not a pilot. But it goes to show you how much, photography and perception is, because I just took a photo at an airport and he thought I was a pilot.
That's amazing, right? But that's also, do you see that in the industry? I love, this is one of the things that I love you say. People out there, and this drives me crazy as well, it's the personal development industry in general drives me crazy, right? Because these days, anybody, any idiot can have a quote that they've read from somebody like 50 years ago, get on a phone and go, hey, da, 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 da. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the truth is, it like waters down the real people, right? Who are actually put the time, the effort, the energy in, who've gone through the highs, the lows, the pains, and have a real heartfelt story to share, right? It drowns that out a lot. And I know something that you said is that people feel people full of air. Was that right?
Full of fluff.
Full of fluff.
That was right. Full of fluff.
And so what do you mean by that?
Well, exactly what you said. There's a lot of people out there that can get on video or get on a phone or even get on a stage and talk. And it can sound great. But, the thing is that in today's society, people are in search for that authenticity. People are looking for people who are going to come across real with them, give them the real without any fluff, right? And what I mean by fluff is like the stuff we were just talking about, like air, like stuff that sounds good, but there's really no meat or purpose behind it or passion behind it. And eventually those people that are doing that, they will eventually fall off the ladder because people will start to recognize who they are for who they are. And they won't want to work with them. They won't want to deal with them, and they'll stop following them. So yeah, it's a little tough, and it's an oversaturated market, in today's day. But those that are really putting in the work, those who do have the powerful story, those who do have the passion, and those who are working in their purpose, those are the ones that are going to shine brighter and last longer.
Right. And is that advice for you in general for people? Because as I say, who are trying to get into the industry or in the industry, and they really do have the talented, they've got a story, but they're just like maybe losing heart about it, because you've been through a ride yourself, because you're professional speaking gigs.
Yeah.
That's not an easy ride, man.
It's not. It's definitely not an easy ride. But again, those who are willing to put in the work, those who are willing to keep it 100% real, and those who are adding value. At the end of the day, people go to these events because they're looking for value, yes. and the stories are great. The stories are inspiring. The stories are motivating. But after the event, what is that? Like you said, for example, my story motivated you and your wife. When your wife was feeling a little bit down, she remembered my story. She remembered what I go through. And that made her change her mindset at that very moment where she was feeling down. And that's the type of stuff that people need to be able to do, so that when you're gone and people are going through what they're going through and life happens, what are you going to deposit into that person's life that when they are going through those things, they can remember what you said or remember what you did or remember how you made them feel, and it can immediately make them change their mindset.
I love it. And that's a rare thing, right? Because like you say, there is so many people, but people like yourself stand out in people's minds. Is it a frequency? Is it a vibration that you're giving off that people like are magnetizing to? Because is that the way your brain works? Because to me, that's what it is, right?
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely think that your vibe attracts your tribe. and that the energy that you put out into the atmosphere is definitely going to connect with certain people. So yeah, I totally believe in the energy and your vibe and how you carry yourself and how how you speak to people and how you value them. Because at the end of the day, my whole mindset is always passion over profit, right? I love doing what I'm doing, and I do it more so for the outcome instead of the income. And obviously we all have to work, right? We all have to feed. Income is important, but what's even more important is the outcome. So if I can help you through my story and through my expertise and through my journey, help you get to the next level, then that's a job well done.
I love it, mate. I love it. And that's why I wanted to talk to you. Again, it's the vibe, dude. So people might be looking at you right now going, Jose's a damn good looking guy, man. And he's got an amazing t-shirt on and he's sitting, he's sitting there. But they might not know that you're sitting in a wheelchair right now, mate.
Yeah, man. I'm sitting in a wheelchair and give you a little view, This is what it looks like, man.
Dude.
And this is every day.
That's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
It really is, mate. And it's and how long have you been in? Because you weren't always in a chair, right?
Yeah, no, I've been in a wheelchair 19 years, and I ended up in a wheelchair at the age of 22 due to a neuromuscular condition, disease that I was born with called spinal muscular atrophy. So I was born with it, but it didn't manifest itself until later on in my life. Like in high school was when it really started to kick in. And then, yeah, at 22, that's when I lost my ability to walk.
And something you shared with me, and this was one of the things where you shared with everyone in the room at the event, was like you going to get your graduation. And at that stage, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, man, because you must have been so like lost at that time. You must have been like wondering what the heck is going on, man. Right? Yeah. No control.
Yeah, absolutely. No control. It's like this thing was taking over my body and I had no control over it. So it was tough, man. It was terrible, and it definitely wasn't easy, but I thank God that, that while I was losing my physical strength, my mental strength was always there. My mindset was always there. I always had that. I'm not going to let this thing beat me down. I'm not going to let it defeat me. And I always kept pushing, even though, I'm human. I had my down times, and there were times where, I was like, I hated God. I hated everybody. I just hated why was this happening to me? I just hated everything. I was like, there was a point where I was really angry with life in general. And, but thank God it didn't last a long time. I was able to snap out of it because, again, my mindset, I was always like, all right, well, you know what? I got to deal with this. I have to figure things out. I'm just going to have to make it happen and keep pushing forward. And that's what I did. That's why I'm still here today. Even when the doctors had said originally that they weren't expecting me to live past my teenage years. And my birthday's in 2 weeks, man. February 25th, I'll be 42 years old.
Mate, my birthday's on February the 28th. I'm going to be 40.
Oh, man, so we got to celebrate, man. We got to celebrate.
Dude, we do. That's madness. So the doctors were telling you that you weren't going to walk. The doctors were telling you all of these things. Yeah. So they were installing, like, their beliefs on you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And, that's why you can't always believe in science, man. I think science is a great thing, and I think that there's a lot of medical advancements, but, they make mistakes, they make misdiagnoses, and, things happen. And, I believe in God and I believe in miracles, and, you can't always believe in that. So, and then sometimes when you do believe in that stuff, that's what kills you even faster, because now your mindset changes and you're thinking that you're dying and there's no hope left, and you lose all hope. And then that just kills your body in general. Even if you don't have a sickness or a disease, if your mindset is poisoned to believe negativity constantly, it's going to automatically affect your body. It's just, that's part of science. That's the reality. It's a fact. With the chemicals that we have, the type of chemicals that produce different toxins in our body, we'll get sick eventually. And then, obviously sickness turns into something else and something else and something else. And then you wind up dying. sooner than you have to.
It's so true, man. It's so true. And do you think the biggest thing that got you and as keeps you like present is acceptance?
Well, that used to be what it was.
Right.
You know, when I used to not be comfortable in my own skin, so to speak, and have that mindset like, man, nobody's going to accept me. And I did face a ton of rejection because of this, this condition that I had to deal with, and I think I shared it at the event, at my condition has to do with my body getting weaker as I get older. But man, because of that, I always felt like the weakest link everywhere, like in my family, in my neighborhood, with my friends at school. I was always the last kid to get picked to play sports. And so, that's tough, It's like a little fat kid who nobody wants on their team because they can't run fast, right? And here I wasn't fat, but I had this condition in me that was preventing me from running fast. So I was still feeling that same type of rejection, that some other kids may have gone through as well. So like I said, man, it wasn't easy, but I kept pushing through, man. Like, that's why I'm so passionate about mindset. And that's why I was excited to be on your podcast,
Yeah, man.
Because it all has to deal with mindset as well. And because I truly believe that, everything begins and ends in the mind.
Everything, mate. Everything. So I love it, mate. And thank you for sharing that. It's appreciated. And that's we're going to get into your book, and we're going to get into your mastermind group, and we're going to get into all of that in a minute, mate. But it's like, so what's your life like now? Because I met your wife as well. And your wife is a beast, like in a good way, man. She's tough. She's like, you can just see it, but you can just see the heartfeltness in her. And she talk about frequency. She was like glowing, right? She really was, man. So how did you guys connect and all the rest of it?
Man, I just want to say my wife is freaking amazing, man. I'm like one of the luckiest men on the planet because it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing, because not everybody's built to deal with this type of lifestyle,
Of course not.
And we've been together for forever, and we're going to be celebrating our 12th year anniversary being married this year. So
wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And she met me in a wheelchair too, so that even goes to show you, the type of person that she is and the type of heart that she carries, because she met me in the wheelchair, and we're enduring and surviving and thriving in our marriage. And she's amazing, But we used to work in a corporate we used to work for corporate America, and we met at a timeshare company that we used to work for, and we were just really cool friends. We were co-workers. We used to sit next to each other, and so we were a part of the same hangout group. So we would go to the movies and to the beach.
Gotcha.
We would go to different people's houses and play, cards and board games and stuff like that. And we just turned out, it just turned into us being very good friends. And then one thing led to the next, and we started, getting an attraction for each other. And I asked her out. I made the move, man. I moved in.
Like a boss.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And she's like she supports you with everything, right? She travels with you as well. Is that right?
Yeah, she travels with me, and she's really the backbone to everything that we do. Because she helps me with everything. She wakes me up. We get up in the morning. She helps me in the chair. She helps me run the business. She helps, with everything we need, right? And so I know you asked what life is looking like now. So we're working on our dream, man. We're working on our vision, and we're living it. We're living it. I was able to leave corporate America last year and start speaking full time. And this year is even greater. Is going to be greater than last year because things are already picking up for us. Beautiful. We're going to be doing a lot of traveling this year. Actually, this next week coming up, we're going to be flying to LA and Las Vegas for 2 different events. So we're going to be doing a lot of traveling. We're doing some international traveling later on this year, and we're going to be in Dallas in April. We're going to be in Colorado in July. So we have a lot of things coming up. And actually, I was on the news yesterday as well, or the day before yesterday. Yeah,
that's cool.
Channel 7, NBC 7 News down here in South Florida. They did they did a story on me and my wife and, you know, how we work together and, you know, the type of lifestyle we have to live and how we're just, you know, being successful and becoming successful and doing what we love to do and in the process, inspiring millions of people's lives.
And I love it, mate. Is that the mission right there? Inspiring millions of people's lives?
That's the mission. My goal for this year alone is to inspire over 1 million lives.
Wow. It's a nice goal, mate. That's a nice goal. And you can do that, right? Absolutely. You can do that, right? That's yeah. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And so 5 years time. Where's Jose and his girl?
Man,
what's the vision?
5 years from now, we're living the life, man. We're traveling the world. We're impacting lives. We're making enough money to be able to provide for ourselves and our families and those in need because we're givers by nature. You know, my wife and I, we're both givers. So, you know, they say that we're blessed to be a blessing, right? So we can have all these things, but what are we going to do with it, right? So we're going to be helping people out. Our goal this year is to open up a nonprofit so that we can start helping out people in different areas that may be struggling. So we're going to be doing that as well. So yeah, man, we're just going to be living the life, man, just growing and going and going and growing, you know?
So I love it, mate. So you as Jose as a kid, Jose is a little boy. Were you always like happy like you are? Not always, no one's always happy, but you know what I mean? Were you inspired by life? Were you, where did you get this hustle from? Let's call it like that. Was it your parents? Did you see anybody? What was going on?
Yeah, no, I think it was built in me, man. From birth, I've always been like, I'm always a happy person. I was always a fun, outgoing person. I like to joke around and play around a lot. You know, I used to be in trouble in school all the time for talking and telling jokes. And, you know, they didn't understand that I was just practicing for my future job, right? But yeah, I had a great childhood, man. I was riding bikes and roller skating and skateboarding and climbing trees and throwing rocks and, you know, doing all the cool, fun kid stuff, right?
That's awesome.
And, but like I said, in high school, that's when things started to, you know, there was a turning point in high school, and that's when things started to go kind of downhill. But
well, so good that they did, though, in a way, right? Well, in a way, you wouldn't be. There's no way you would have. This is the point, right? And I'm jumping everywhere, but the point is, I haven't met a single person ever that I really want to hang out with and like yourself, that hasn't been through so much crap and pain in their life, right? Because if someone stays in this middle little bracket, there's the 9-to-5 world or whatever it is, no comfort zone you're getting out of, and you're pushing zero boundary. They're living in fear to make sure that they pay the bills for the mortgage for the next 30 years, right? So they make sure they're safe. We're safe. But at the end of the day, that's not how life works, is it?
Yeah, no, man, absolutely. And yeah, you're right. That's one of the things that sets me apart from a lot of people, you know, well, most people. And the thing is that I'm not most people, you know, I'm unique, I'm different. And you know, there's a purpose for this chair, you know. What the full purpose is, I'll never know until, you know, I die and go to heaven and have that conversation, right? But I know that there's a purpose for this chair, because I think you were going to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, if I wasn't in this wheelchair, would I be doing what I'm doing today? And
exactly.
Probably not, you know, probably not. Mm-hmm. But the reason I'm in this chair is, one of the reasons I'm in this chair, and I know for a fact, is because I'm able to use this chair as a platform to impact and inspire other people's lives. Because, you know, and I know this, you know, because everybody always, you know, there's several people that come up to me all the time and they're like, man, just keep doing what you're doing because you're inspiring people and you don't even know it. And there's been a few people that have come up to me, strangers, that have said that, but then there's other people that I know that say that too. So I know that that's a reality, and a fact that just the fact that people see me in a wheelchair, smiling, out and about, working hard, busting my behind, grinding, hustling, and putting in that work, that people are saying, man, what the heck? Like, if that guy in the wheelchair can do it, what the heck is my excuse?
Right. And that's the thing. That's the thing, the golden nugget right there. What's my excuse?
Yeah.
Right? Just take away your excuses, and then everything's there. So we went 5 years out, Jose. Let's go let's go backwards. 3 years ago, right? Let's rewind the clock. 3 years. What would you do different, bud?
What would I do different?
Yeah.
Man, I would have, if 3 years ago from today, I would have started to look into what I was doing more aggressive, what I'm doing now more aggressively, and just start going really diving in deep, you know, because 3 years ago I was still working for corporate America. So, you know, it's kind of tough working a full-time job and then chasing your dream at the same time. But that's where, you know, we have 8 hours of sleep, then most people have 8 hours of work, and then it's those other 8 hours where all the treasure is located, right?
Love it.
It's in that third 8 hours of time that you really decide what you want your life to look like. And it's what you're going to do with those 8 hours that's going to determine the type of lifestyle that you are or are not going to live. And I told myself, I said, hey, you know what? There's more than just living and dying in this wheelchair, and I want more. I know there's more out there for me, and I want to go get it. And so I was pretty much working 2 full-time jobs. I would go to work, you know, 8 to 5, get out of work, come home, eat, jump on the computer, and bust my butt till like 10, 11, sometimes 12 o'clock at night, writing my book, you know, writing for large institutions like Entrepreneur and Thrive Global and the Project. And, you know, opening my company and starting the company and watching YouTube videos and learning how to open up a company, you know, how to start an LLC, taxes, and all of these different things, right? But it's putting in the work, you know, instead of coming home and Netflixing and chilling, you know, I was coming home and getting online and learning and growing and educating myself and becoming more. My whole thing, man, is about helping people to learn more, do more, and become more in life. And if you can do those 3 things, man, there's no limit there's no limit to the type of lifestyle that you can live and the depth of satisfaction and fulfillment that you'll receive.
There's the key words again, right? Fulfillment and satisfaction. Because, like, you know, we both know massively successful people who just don't feel fulfilled, right? They've got the cars, the houses, the planes, but they're not fulfilled. They're lost. You know, they know how to accumulate. Absolutely. But they don't know themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said, it's funny, you said they know how to accumulate, but they don't know how to emulate.
I love it. You got some good acronyms, man. I like that.
Yeah. They know how to get the stuff and bring it in, but they don't know how to give out. You know, they don't know how to put out what they want to do.
They get, but they don't give. So that leads me to your book, buddy. Yeah. Now, my girl's actually read it. I've gone through bits of it. I'm honest. I just haven't had time yet, but it's sitting there, right? And I love the way you've put it together because it's really like you go through the chapters and you hit the end of the chapters and it's got literally, this is what you need to do. Next chapter, here's the story, here's what it is. No, now, this is what you need to do. I love it. And it's called, don't let your struggle become your standard. And that's your whole catchphrase, right? Not catchphrase, that's the wrong thing. But your whole theme, let's call it that, right? Tell me more about that, man. Tell me more about how, where did the book start? What was that first day that you decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a book. Because there must have been some doubt there. There must have been, who the heck's going to listen to me? Or, right?
Yeah. I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, I was taking this course with my wife. And one of the things we had to do was to do like a 3-year, 5-year, and a 50-year goal plan. Ooh. And me writing a book was in the 50-year goal plan. Right? I wanted to do it. I thought I needed to do it like later on in life. Once I've experienced enough life to be able to talk about life. That was my mindset, right? I was like, you know, I have to wait some more years until I'm maybe in my 50s or 60s and then write a book because now I'm knowledgeable and wise enough to talk about life. And I always thought like, man, you're a young buck. You don't know anything, right? But I said, you know what? There's too many nuggets that are connected to my life for me not to share with people. And you know, as I got into this personal development space, I started learning that most speakers are authors also. And if you want to, you know, have that extra leverage, you have to become an author. And It was tough, man, but I made the decision and I said, you know what? I'm going to write a book. And the first 3 months, I procrastinated like heck.
Oh, really?
You know, I procrastinated. I was like, oh, I'll do it next week, or I'll write tomorrow night, or I'll write next weekend, or I'll start next month. And for 3 months, I procrastinated until I said, you know what? I got to get this thing done. So it took me like 6 months of writing.
Wow.
Like, yeah. And it was because, the whole process took about 6 months from beginning to end, because I wrote it. Then we had to get it edited, and then we had to get it formatted, and then we had to get it published, and so forth and so on. But it took about 6 months, and could have probably done sooner if I wouldn't have procrastinated. But the process was great, man. And the reason I wrote that book is because I know everyone goes through a struggle. There's not one person on this planet that hasn't been through some type of struggle, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, marital, social, whatever it is, everyone's been through it. And so that's why I wanted to write the book. Don't let your struggle become your standard, because a lot of times actually, when people go through a struggle or a hardship or a tragedy, or, face some type of adversity or obstacle, they get stuck and they wind up parking there, and they wind up staying there, if not for several years, their whole life. And you look at people, you're like, man, like I look at, people that I've went to school with, and they're like still in the same neighborhood, doing the same things, hanging around the same people, and there's no change, there's no transformation. It's like we were talking about that comfort zone, right? And it's like, if you want to be great, you have to step out your comfort zone. And that was me stepping out of my comfort zone, because when I was in school, I didn't even like to read, let alone write. But when I started to learn more and expand my mind and expand my thinking, and, leaders are readers, right? And so the more I read, the more I started to learn, the more I started to, actually develop a passion for reading. And then I developed a passion for writing. So after I wrote my book, that's when I started writing a blog. I started writing for large publications like Entrepreneur. And so now I'm a writer, and I love it, because you can express yourself in writing in great detail and really give people like the whole full shebang. And that's what I did with the book. I wanted to make that book like a gem, and I poured my whole heart and soul into that book. And like you said, at the end of every chapter, I didn't want to just write a book to write a book. I wanted to write something that people can actually get a tremendous amount of value from actually reading the book and then putting those action steps into practice.
Right.
And that's why I created those action steps at the end of every chapter, along with the QR code that you can scan with your phone, and a video of me pops up giving you a 1 or 2 minute pep talk to motivate you to take action based off of the chapter that you just read. So
awesome.
How cool is that, right?
That's clever, man. That's really clever. I love that. I love that.
Again, it's an added value. It's an added value. You don't see that in a lot of books, because it costs money to do those videos, and it costs money to have somebody edit them and format them and put them into a QR code and all of that. And, most people don't want to make that extra investment. But like I said earlier, I'm not most people, and I want to make sure that I'm giving people more value than what they think they're paying for.
It's huge, man. It's huge, and I love that. Passion before profit is what you said before, right?
Yeah, man.
I think that's huge, man. I wish the world needs a bit of that. The world needs a bit of a Jose ethics, and then it'll make a huge difference. So you describe. So carry on. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was going to say the money will come,
Yes.
But if you're not passionate about what you're doing in life, then you're going to be dragging your feet your whole life. Going to a job that you hate, doing things that you don't like. And if you have to drag your feet, or people have to drag you, then you're not passionate about it. But if you wake up in the morning on your own with that own internal clock, because you know that it's time to wake up and make stuff happen and go impact lives, then you wake up with a certain type of energy, with a different energy and vibe. It's like, man, if I don't wake up today, I'm letting people down. I need to get out there, because there's people out there that are waiting for me to show up for life. And if I don't show up, then these people are being what's the word? Down. Yeah, they're being let down. Yeah, they're being cheated. I'm cheating them. Yeah. So that's why I wake up every morning, man. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I have the audio book. There's so many people that write a book but they won't do the audio book. I did the audio. I didn't
know you had the audio book for that.
Yeah, man. And I actually, to be honest, I like the audio book better than the physical book, because it's just like it's an amazing story. And to be able to, it's like me and you having a conversation now, but I'm sharing all the stuff that's in the book in audio version, and it's amazing. But
do you read it? Do you read it? Do you
Yeah,
read it? Even more cool, man. I'm getting that audiobook too for the simple fact that's how I learn fast. I listen. When I read, I have a bit of dyslexia, so it gets a bit jumbled sometimes. So probably why I've held back with the book, right? But I listen to it. It's beautiful, mate. So you coach, you get on stage, right? And you've got a powerful mastermind group that's you're launching soon, right? Tell me about that, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's called the Mental Toughness Mastermind.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be launching next month in March. I'm super excited about that. That's going to come with, it's an 8-week mastermind. So every week I'll be getting on, doing a live Zoom call with everyone that signs up. Then we'll be jumping into the private Facebook group and conversating about the topic that we talk about every week. Everybody will be able to engage. They'll get access to my network. And for those of you who know me, you guys know that my network is pretty extensive with a lot of heavy hitter players that are in the industry. But for those of you who don't, man, look me up and see who I'm connected with, because I'm going to have some special guests speaking at the mastermind as well, maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah, and we're going to have some cool conversations in the group. And it's going to come with the workbook/journal that you'll be able to do some exercises and also journal your experience and your thoughts and write that down, because, you know, when you write down your emotions and what you're thinking or your ideas or your creativity and you write it down, you know, at the moment you may just jot it down real quick and then, you know, 5 minutes later you forget about it. But when you go back to it and you're like, oh, wow, I remember that. I want to go ahead and take action on that. And so it's going to be a workbook/journal that they'll get. They also get a copy of my book. They get an audio copy of the book as well. Or I can send them the ebook, whichever they prefer. And they're going to go ahead and it's going to be a powerful thing. And every week we're going to be touching on different topics that's going to help people get their mindset right so that they can conquer 2019 and every year after this year.
Beautiful, man. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. And we need to have a look at that for myself, mate, and everyone. It's you can't, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter what level of the game you get to. If you decide that you think you know it all, or you stop learning and growing, it's madness. And you see people do it, right? So the humblest, most successful people are the people that are constantly in growth mode, thinking that they are better than anybody or anything, and it's constantly learning. So I love it, buddy. I love it. So I know you've got to go. So what's the best way? I'm going to put links everywhere for us, but what's the best way to connect with you, bud?
The best way to connect with me would be on Instagram. That's like my favorite platform. But
cool.
I'm on all social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, Snapchat. I'm on everything. And I'm very active and engaging. But my favorite one is Instagram. So, but if they want to, my handle is @JoseInspires. That's JoseInspires, Jose Inspires, on every social media platform. Or they can visit my website, which is www.joseinspires.com.
Yep.
And if they're interested in the mastermind, they can get it through that website, or they can just go to mentaltoughness2020.com. They can sign up directly from that link as well and sign up for the mastermind that's going to be starting in March. 8 weeks, and then every 8 weeks we're going to be doing this and launching it, and then helping just people elevate their mindset. Also, if they wanted to get a copy of my book, they can go to my website. If they want me to personalize it and sign it for them, they can get it at my website at joseinspires.com. If they don't care about getting it signed, that's great also. That's cool, but they can get it on audible.com. They can get it on amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles, and iTunes, and everywhere else.
Boom. Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. You're going to have so many people jumping all over this. I know, mate. I know. And Jose, you're a star, mate. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, it's my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me, and keep on making an impact with your podcast and what you guys are doing. Send my regards to your lovely wife. And hope to see you again in Florida. If you ever come down to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, man, hit me up. I'd love to connect again with you in person.
Let's hang out, mate. And anytime you want to come back on the show, when you've got anything new to promote or anything like that, hit me up. We're bringing you on, buddy.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thanks again.